you have committed that you're going to be somewhere to help somebody else out, no matter what is just waiting for you in your office, waiting for you at home, homework you got to do, if you've made a commitment, just make sure you're following through. So that's kind of 2 in 1. Be consistent. Make sure you're following through. And be present whenever you are somewhere. Put your focus into that and actually really care about what you're doing and what you're talking about. I will say that is a big struggle for me, being present a lot of times. I know that this is not a role that you may be interested in, being an assistant principal. You never know. Down the road it might be. But it does take a lot to do the job. There's a lot of things that can really take your time from you, take time away from family. And so I think that when we're really looking at that kind of stuff, it's a struggle for me to always be present. I'm trying to make sure, did I get that stuff done this morning? Did I send that email? Then I get home and I got to bring the laptop out. So just as a leader, make sure you're always being present with family too. Just because you have these commitments and things that you're trying to get done, when it's time to be at home, be present with your family too. That's what makes a great leader as well. I've got a really good one for you. If you are trying to kind of learn about leadership qualities, don't ever ask somebody to do something you're not willing to do yourself. Don't ask somebody to do something you're not willing to do yourself. For me, this is kind of like when considering our custodians or maintenance people that really help us out a lot up here. Whenever I see trash, I try and pick it up. If there's something that's broken, I'll try and fix it. Try and get in there and take care of that myself. If I can save them a little bit of time and handle it myself, I think that's something that's really important to do. So don't ever ask somebody to do a job you're not willing to do yourself. That's what makes a great leadership quality. You're good, man. Have at it. I wrote this one down 3 times just because it's really important. Communicate. So I put communicate. It's good to always have whoever you're working with on the same page. Sometimes we over-communicate, but in the end, that person might have needed to know that information. It might save you a little bit of time by telling multiple people instead of just one. And then when somebody asks a question and continues to ask all these things, well, if you just would have communicated with everybody the first time, it probably would have gone a lot smoother. So I really think communication is a big thing, especially as a leader. You're going to hear that one a lot. That communication is critical. Staying positive. Try and always stay positive. Leaders deal with a lot. You deal with a lot of stress. Kind of all interconnected. There's a lot of things on your plate, a lot of things you're trying to balance and handle at one time. And that can sometimes cause you to want to take that out on a friend, family, a coworker. And it's just, as a leader, you have to remember that it's not them that's causing that stress. It's just the job. It's just the job sometimes, and you really have to compartmentalize that and just take care of your business and stay positive. Just always stay positive, I promise. There's a lot of power in positivity. I think another big quality of being a leader is trying to be a servant. I think this is all connected into that. Don't ask somebody to do a job you wouldn't do. Being present is also kind of being a servant leader. You know what I mean when I say that? What do I mean?
Hey, just not only don't be a taker, be a giver.
Okay, I like that. Anybody else want to add to it? No pressure. So like being a servant leader. Yeah, I like all that. It's you're here to make sure everybody else has a good day and they're successful. They have what they need. In a way, this is kind of that. Making sure that Mr. West is set for the day. If there's anything I can do to make his life easier, to help him out with his class, that's what I want to do. I want to be here to help out any teacher, any student, any person that walks through the door. I want to be here to make sure that they're taken care of and that I can do whatever I can to make sure they've had a good day. So I think that's kind of some of the big stuff about that. Yep.
Aren't you an assistant principal?
I am, yes. Like I said, I did not wear my name badge. That is a bad leadership example to go around unidentified is not a great thing, especially in a school. So yes, usually have my name badge on. I'm Chace Jackson. I'm one of the assistant principals in the sophomore office.
You're not Mr. Michael Jackson?
I am not Mr. Michael Jackson.
Not Mr. Michael Jackson?
No, afraid not. Sorry. Is that who you're expecting today?
Yeah.
I think one of the last pieces that's really important as a leader, obviously there's that role model piece, so it's always going to be a role model, but always create relationships. Create relationships with the people you work with the people you care about, and that sometimes goes hand in hand. So I think building relationships with people is going to be critical. I think if I were to come in here, and a lot of you I don't know on a personal basis, but if I were to come in here and make demands or ask you to do certain things, you'd probably be taken aback a little bit, and you probably wouldn't necessarily want to do that. So I think once you've kind of built relationships with people, and they know that you're there to care for them, they know that you're there to do whatever is needed to get the job done, they're going to be far more willing to work with you and kind of fight for you. So I think just make sure you always build relationships with people, and just show them that you're a person too, that you have family and you have things you care about outside of here, and when you ask them to do certain things, they know that it's coming from a good place. So I think that's the big pieces. Do you have any questions about what it's like being a leader, or can I expand on anything for you? So a lot of the stuff I talked about, just as a reminder, don't ask them to do a job that you're not willing to do yourself or have possibly already done yourself. Make sure you always communicate. Stay positive. You're going to face some challenges as a leader, but staying positive is always going to be critical. I think a lot of my style, or what I would imagine it is being a servant type leader. So we're here to help everybody be successful, and that's students, staff, everybody. Servant. Try and be consistent and be present. If you say you're going to do something, make sure you do it. And when you are there to do that, be present. There's always going to be something going on, but just make sure that you are there in the moment. And then finally, build relationships. Build relationships with people. Build relationships with customers if you're in that kind of a role. And they'll keep coming back, or they'll keep doing the things for you that you ask, and hopefully you'll find success. No questions about what it's like for leadership.
Come on, somebody has a question. Come on.
I just did that good. It's okay. I get it.
Any questions? Cole, you have a question? I thought you raised your hand.
I had a question as well.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I was
Lots of stretching going.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So, how did you get to the position of having this job?
Good question.
I have
That's
two
what I was
questions.
gonna ask.
I have two questions, but that's in the word. Go ahead.
What was the job before this one?
I was a teacher. I taught history here. I was actually also a student here. I graduated in 2006.
And you're after I was born.
So I,
You graduated in 2006.
correct, from Broken Arrow High School.
So like 16 years ago?
What would be?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
we're
good
getting
math.
close.
That's good math.
Yeah, that is, yeah. So, so just being honest, I didn't know that I was going to do this job. When I was in high school, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I went off to college, did business classes, and took, business classes in college because that's what was going to make you a lot of money, right? Well, it's not fun. You take accounting classes and barely pass, and take some of these other classes that just are not really fulfilling. I didn't really like it, so I ended up completely shifting gears. My dad was a police officer, so I actually graduated from college with a degree in Homeland Security. I wanted to be an air marshal. I was going to fly all around and go to different places and be security, basically, a federal agent on an airplane. Found out later wasn't a huge fan of flying, so that kind of derailed that a little bit, and didn't really find a lot of fulfillment in that work either. There's a lot of stuff in the news about police officers, and Not that that's what turned me off, but my mom was an assistant principal, so did anybody go to Oliver Middle School? So I also went to Oliver. My mom actually was a principal at Oliver for a long time. So that's what kind of got me in education. I started substitute teaching at a middle school in Broken Arrow. Really liked it. When you have your degree and you want to teach, you can actually do what they call alternatively certified. You can go take a test in a certain course area. I was able to certify as a teacher. Got into this job, loved it. Loved working with kids, loved teaching. Had a lot of fun doing U.S. history and Oklahoma history, and it was a blast. What got me into this job, to finally answer your question, is I was helping out roughly 100 to 120 kids a day, being in the classroom, having 20 to 30 kids. And I felt like I could help more people, more students, and more adults by going into a role like this. So now I deal with roughly 400 sophomores, not to mention all the other sophomores, juniors, seniors that I talk to throughout the day. I work with a lot of our new teachers up here on what they're doing in their classrooms. And I just feel like I can have a little bit greater impact on the school as a whole by doing this job than what I was doing before. But I certainly miss teaching. I miss it a lot because it was awesome to be in the classroom and do some fun stuff with kids.
So you had to go to college for the particular job
Yeah,
that you're doing.
correct. Yes.
So did you get your bachelor's and your master's at the same time?
I did not. So I got my bachelor's, so that got me kind of into teaching. And then when I started teaching, I wanted to get my master's anyway, but I started going back to school. So while I was teaching, I was going to school to get my master's.
Your
How many
question.
years in total did you do?
So I taught for 5 years, and so now I'm going on year 8. So yes, so this is my 3rd year as an assistant principal.
So the reason I asked that is because we've talked about the fact that it's very possible that you'll change your job and occupation several times throughout your life. And we've talked about the fact that this was not like it is 20 years ago. So there are going to be new things that are invented that you could pivot and do something totally different if you decide, hey, I really like that, I want to know more about it. So that's the same kind of thing that he's talking about. He was going to be this, fly, and then it's like, oh, I don't know that I really like that. So he pivoted to something else, and then he pivoted to something else. So that's just the normal kind of progression. But actually, the things you did before kind of prepared you for the next things. And even your family did, all of those kinds of influences.
Would you count social media as a job?
Yeah, now
That's what I
especially.
do. That's what I do.
It kind of was always, it's always been a job, but it looks so much different now than it did 30, 40 years ago.
Once you learn how to do it, it's really easy. What I do is I go on YouTube, I look for a clip, I edit that, stuff like that. It takes a while to learn. My brother taught me a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
And he gave me a count so I could get started. So I got that. You have to edit videos, do that, make sure there's no any bad words or anything. If you're a kid-friendly social media person, then you do that. You edit the video. You put your hashtags and stuff like that, and you post it, and then you can make money off of it. Decent money if you get a certain amount of views and stuff like that. So that's technically my job.
Yeah.
I don't get paid very much, but
So one other question
Yeah.
and I don't want to keep you too much longer, but
I'm here. I'm being present.
okay. One thing that I want to ask, hopefully every one of our speakers throughout the year, is what kind of employee is a good employee to have?
Yeah, I think kind of some of the same stuff.
Because let me preface it with, the assistant principals also are part of the hiring of teachers and other positions also on campus. So he does hiring, and I don't know if you've done any firing yet, but in 3 years, I don't know. Anyway, but both of those kinds of things. Go ahead.
And I think one of the biggest things when you're at a job or a new job is some of the same things we've talked about. Be consistent, show up. That sometimes is the biggest part of it. We are all still learning what our roles are and what our careers are. So a lot of the times, like you are still learning as students. If you miss a certain amount of days, you are not going to be able to learn. You're going to be playing catch up. You look like you are inconsistent in what you do. But people always show up every day. They put in the work. They work as hard as they can and are willing to fail and grow from it. Nobody's going to come in and be perfect. Nobody's going to become a teacher and, year one, you just know how to deal with kids, you know how to teach. You're going to struggle. So it's people who are willing to just show up, put the work in, you struggle, fail, ask questions, repeat, and get better. So we're always learning and growing. I still am as an adult. I'm still learning a lot about this job, a lot about different policies and laws for the state, things we can do to make sure you all get graduated and go on to do whatever you want. And so everybody's always going to be learning. So it's not a bad thing to fail. Just know that you're going to learn from it and grow, and that's the kind of people we want. People who are willing to be vulnerable, come in and ask questions, and learn from it. I would also say, kind of like what I was talking about, where I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. You guys are in an awesome, unique position where you still can kind of learn about that. You're going to learn about a lot of different careers in this class. You're going to learn about how to get those jobs, but you still also have a lot of avenues like Tulsa Tech and places like that you can get some certifications, get some school, Tulsa Community College, things that will be provided to you at a discount being a Broken Arrow student that I did not take advantage of when I was your age. So that's a good way to kind of get some insight into that stuff and to get some early stuff taken care of that might help you. Might save you a little bit of money down the road too. Yeah.
I want to do working on computers and
Yeah.
in the place near my house, near McDonald's. I went over there to get something fixed on my electronics.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, this is how you do it," and like that. And I fixed it, and then I was like, "This is fun. I want to learn how to do this not computer programming, but like
computer,
like Geek Squad."
Yeah, like actually repairing stuff. There's good money in that too.
Yeah, like fixing computers, building a computer for
So
somebody.
like he was saying, a lot of that stuff is not around, like for us, and so to know how to repair it and to make it better or faster is definitely a huge career opportunity.
And it can't be outsourced.
True.
I mean,
It can't be outsourced to something else overseas or whatever.
Yeah.
If somebody needs their computer fixed on their desk, they need somebody physically to come do it.
Yep.
So,
Any other questions?
come on, you guys have lots of questions. No?
Yeah, I do have a lot of questions, but they're not related to this.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I can
Okay.
help you with those. But I will say you're already showing a lot of really great qualities of being a leader. A lot of you made really good eye contact the whole time I was talking. You came up with questions even when you might not have had any. And just, you took good notes. Those are all, even though you may not think about it, those are all great qualities of actually being there, listening to somebody, being attentive, making eye contact. Even if in the back of your mind there's other stuff going on, going through the paces of making eye contact and taking notes and, nodding is a great way to kind of show that you're actively engaged. So thank you all for letting me come in here.
So around the room there are campaign posters.
Yeah.
Because we are in the middle of preparing to have an election. And
Like it.
so these students up here are the ones that are actually running. Everyone had to make one, but only some people are actually running. So
Yeah.
who in here is running for an office? We have two.
Awesome.
So we have one more poster to put up. We'll have 5 running for president. We have 2 running for this career preparation position.
Yeah.
We only have 1 for the civic activities.
Ooh.
And then we have 3 for the secretary position.
Somebody's running unopposed, huh?
Yep. Unless they.
Ava, right? Is that you?
Yes.
Nice, I like it. Michael looks good. I'm not sure what he's doing, but.
It's Uncle Mickey. Uncle Mickey wants you to vote. Come on. So
That's awesome.
anyway, and so we're going to do an activity tomorrow where they have to tell each other what they like about each other's posters.
Yeah.
But we're
I like
not
it,
gonna
like
be
the color and
negative.
everything.
So, anyway, but I think people learned something about the graphical part of this too. So,
Yeah.
anyway, can y'all thank him for coming
Thank you.
today?
Of course.
Appreciate you coming in
You like fine?
and
I
taking
need
your
to sit right
time.
here.
Good job.
How's you guys
You
doing?
have an AR just like me.
Didn't you draw that yourself?
Y'all is good. Did you print them? Did you print them in color today?
Yes, Deborah printed them for me.
I like it. It's really
I
good.
may put in a grant to get our own printer
Yeah.
in here.
This coffee?
No, Deborah Kennedy.
She's in office.
But I don't know, I didn't check Ms. Coffee to see if she had a
I
printer.
think we do. We got some.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Have a
thank
good
you.
If you ever
day.
need anything, sophomore office, come see me.
Okay.
I'll see y'all later.
Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, so you can write your reflection if you want. I was gonna do the poster thing today, but there's still 3 that need to be printed, so we'll just do it tomorrow.
How do I?
I'll tell you in just a second. I have a sheet that I can give you. Let me say a few things and I'll give it to you.
I can also.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. So, since like tomorrow was going to be our academic, if you look over there on the 7th, it was going to be our academic remediation day. So, since we're going to like share the thing tomorrow with our poster events, so why don't we do work on some academics for the rest of the hour? All right, if you have some, like you can write this reflection. If there's some other stuff that you need to do from some other classes, we could do that now. Yes. Yeah, so the front was just your notes over
I thought you said
what
if you
was
want.
being
Yeah,
said.
you said if you want.
If you want to, you
Yeah,
can
you
just
said
write
if you
down.
want.
I'm sorry that I worded it that way.
Well, so are we supposed to write it right here, narrated?
You should, the front was supposed to be for notes over what was said.
I'll put the sentences and stuff right on this page.
Yeah, the writing of the formal paragraph should have been on the back. I thought that's what you were saying to me earlier.
That was, I didn't want to roll more.
You didn't want to redo it. So,
I'm just gonna learn about this real quick.
you're gonna do,
I already did it.
you're missing assignments.
I don't have it.
Are you sure?
I'm done on my
So, take your phone out and take a picture of it.
Good?
And Google will tell you all the information about it.
Oh, I found it there. It's my teacher gave it to me.
Oh.
So, do it the opposite way. So, in a couple of weeks, we're going to have another speaker, one of the city councilwoman from here in Broken Arrow, and we will use this form again. So just jot down some notes on what she's talking about, and then you can write your more formal paragraph afterwards or something like that. Okay? Yes.
How does the rest of the give you the
Yes. And Cole volunteered to give you some help if you want. You don't even really necessarily have to have this sheet because it's kind of. It doesn't. It's more, that sheet is more for me when I'm grading it, whether you follow the instructions or not. The most important thing is to go to postermywall.com, like that.
So how will we get a print on?
You'll submit it to the assignment in Canvas, and then I have to send it to the secretary that prints them for me.